Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen Joe.
I'm Cameron Word.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to remind everyone that the new book for the new month is out at bookstores.
Yes.
And, surprisingly, there are listeners who still don't know how to get the book or to subscribe to the book.
Oh, no.
So it's unfortunate, but I'd like to tell you, if you can't find it at your local bookstore because maybe you're in a smaller city,
Yes.
just go online.
Yeah.
Go to the big online bookstores, and they have it for sure.
They do. Yeah. You can.
And I believe they even have an ebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can look at it on your phone or look at it on your tablet.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to look at the show's book.
Okay, very good. So remember to get your book and study with us with a book.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got an article for you today. What are we going to talk about?
Wastes related to the pandemic can be used to strengthen concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of waste, meaning trash, during the pandemic.
There was. I mean, we were having to stay inside, and we were getting a lot of things delivered. So that meant there was extra packaging involved.
That's right. Masks disposable masks, plastic gloves.
The tests even.
Yes.
The little things you had to stick up your nose.
Right.
Yeah.
All of that is trash. Where does it go? Well, what they did was they used those materials to strengthen concrete.
Concrete,
Yes. Okay. So it should be interesting. Here are some expressions that we'll look at. If something is a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
So we know what a bomb is. Right? What is a ticking time bomb?
So tick is the sound a clock makes. Tick, 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 tick. So if a bomb is ticking, it means that it's going to explode soon.
Okay.
And it basically means there is a situation where a disaster is about to happen.
Now, if something breaks down,
it means that it can no longer be used, or it is something that it was a whole and it's now into little pieces.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we'll see how it's used. And if you put an end to something,
you stop it.
Usually
by force. I'm going to put an end to this. I'm going to stop it.
Okay, let's go ahead and listen to our article.
The negative environmental effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are a ticking time bomb. The billions of isolation gowns, masks, and rubber gloves breaking down in landfills around the world are a threat to the health of the planet. But there may be a solution. Engineers have discovered that shredding these discarded items into tiny pieces and adding them to concrete can strengthen the material by 20% and make it resistant to cracking. By putting an end to the environmental damage, the pandemic's long-term effects can be minimized.
Let's begin. The negative environmental effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are a ticking time bomb. So, these are the negative environmental effects, okay?
Yes.
The bad things that happen because of COVID-19. It's a ticking time bomb. So, what image do we have of a ticking time bomb? Like, literally.
Well, an image, it's like whenever you're watching that old show 24, where the bomb is tick, 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 tick. You know the bomb is going to explode. You're just waiting for it to happen. Right? So in the same way, the negative effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, you know the effects are coming. There are negative effects, and they're not here yet, but they're going to happen.
They're going to happen.
So it's just like a disaster waiting to happen.
Okay, so we're just waiting for it.
Yeah.
The billions of isolation gowns, masks, and rubber gloves breaking down in landfills around the world are a threat to the health of the planet.
Yes.
At that time, it was like, oh my gosh, people are dying. We didn't think about these things. But then the billions of isolation gowns, the sort of like
We call those hazmat suits.
Hazmat suits.
Hazardous materials.
Yes.
Yeah, those suits.
Hazmat.
Yeah, those white plastic.
That's right.
So that the air doesn't get in and come in and out. Yeah.
So those gowns, then we have the masks and the gloves, and these are breaking down in landfills around the world, are a threat to the health of the planet. So in this case, breakdown has a number of meanings.
Right.
But in this case, what does it mean?
So, yes, we're not talking about like an engine breaking down.
Yes.
Where it's stopping working.
Right.
We're talking about a material that is a chemical that is slowly dissolving, kind of going into its smaller parts. So when we're talking about plastic in this case, instead of having like a plastic bottle, if you throw it outside slowly, very slowly, that bottle kind of fades away, right?
Right.
But it's not like the molecules go away.
Right.
They're still in the environment. They just become much smaller.
That's right. And so these breaking down in landfills, LANDFILLS, landfill.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
A landfill is a place where we throw our trash long term.
Yeah.
So it's not in a trash can.
We don't burn it.
Right. You don't burn it. Yeah, you're putting it just on the ground to stay there.
Yeah. I mean, I would say a place like America, I know they have a lot of landfills, but Korea, it's a small country. We usually burn the trash.
Yeah. Well, there are historically some landfills in Korea that they've turned into parks.
Right.
So it's where the trash used to be, and they put ground on top of it.
Right.
And now, people play on top of it.
Now, these these materials are breaking down very slowly, but they are a threat to the health of the planet. So if something is a threat to...
Yes. So it is a dangerous possibility. So because it's not good when there's so much plastic that is slowly going into the environment, right? So the danger is that these plastics, these bad chemicals are going to go in things like our water, or they're going to go into the ground where we grow crops, food. Yeah, so that threat is that it's a dangerous existence and a dangerous possibility.
Okay. So it's a big problem, basically.
Yeah.
And then let's continue.
They say, but there may be a solution. Engineers have discovered that shredding these discarded items into tiny pieces and adding them to concrete can strengthen the material by 20% and make it resistant to cracking.
Okay, so what they're going to do is that they're going to shred these discarded items. So if you shred something, when I think of the word shred, I think of like a bank ATM, and they have those paper shredders.
Yes.
You know, the receipts that you could put in there, and it like shreds it. It eats the receipts, right? That's shredding. So what they're doing is they're shredding these sort of materials that are thrown away into tiny pieces, and then what?
They are going to put them into the concrete.
Yeah.
And the reason they're putting them into the concrete mixture is because it strengthens the material by 20%. And the concrete doesn't crack as much.
Yeah, because concrete can crack.
Yeah.
Right? There could be lines, but this makes it stronger.
Yes.
By putting an end to the environmental damage, the pandemic's long-term effects can be minimized. Okay, put an end to environmental damage.
Yes. Put an end to means that you are stopping something.
Yeah.
So they are trying to stop or prevent the environmental damage that could possibly come from the pandemic.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
The negative environmental effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are a ticking time bomb. The billions of isolation gowns, masks, and rubber gloves breaking down in landfills around the world are a threat to the health of the planet. But there may be a solution. Engineers have discovered that shredding these discarded items into tiny pieces and adding them to concrete can strengthen the material by 20% and make it resistant to cracking. By putting an end to the environmental damage, the pandemic's long-term effects can be minimized.
All right, it's time for Power No. Please join us on pages 166 and 7. If something is a ticking time bomb, it feels very dangerous.
Yes.
It means that, there's something bad is going to happen. Really bad.
Yes.
Like a bomb exploding. I can't believe that old house hasn't fallen down yet.
Yeah, after the last hurricane, it's been a ticking time bomb.
Okay, so the house is still standing, but you just don't know when it's going to collapse, when it's going to fall down.
It's going to.
We
just
don't know when. Okay. This car and its bad brakes are a ticking time bomb. So the brakes, why would bad brakes be a ticking time bomb?
Because they may kind of work right now, but someday they're going to stop working and it's going to cause an accident.
All right, so what other ways can we use, because it's a bit serious and quite dangerous.
Right.
When can we use this?
So you can use a ticking time bomb with a person.
How?
Let's say, okay, let's be real. There are some parents who are not good parents, who maybe have anger management problems.
Okay.
They get too angry over small things.
Okay.
And you could say that parent, like a mother or father, is a ticking time bomb. If the child does a small thing wrong, and then the parent is just yelling or, doing whatever, it's not good.
Yeah.
But you could say that type of person is a ticking time bomb. You don't know when they will get angry.
You don't know when they will explode.
Yeah, but they will. You could say that with like bosses as well.
Right.
That are, not very good bosses.
Well, people who have very, very volatile tempers, meaning people who have very bad tempers. I think they're a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
You could say.
You could also say this about pregnant women. You don't
what do
know.
You mean?
Well, in this case, it's not necessarily a bad one. You don't know when the baby's coming. But the baby's going to come any day. You know when it's like 10 months pregnant?
Yes.
It's like, oh gosh, the baby's a little late.
Yeah.
Why hasn't the baby come?
Yeah, it's about to come. When is it coming?
The new mother we might say, is a ticking time bomb.
That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah.
It's like, oh boy, it's going to explode.
Yeah.
So a ticking time bomb, obviously, in these two cases are really like something disastrous, something dangerous is going to happen. But we do use it with people and certain situations.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So now if something breaks down, it's like in this context, it means to be reduced to smaller parts.
Yes.
Right?
So it might be good to think of like a water molecule. Water is H2O.
Right.
So it's made of H, hydrogen, and O, oxygen.
Right.
But if water breaks down, it breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen.
Sure.
So it's that...
separated.
Yeah. It's that whole unit separating into smaller pieces.
Wow. That was it. Look
Science.
at you, Cameron.
Power English.
Talking about chemistry like a pro.
Look at that.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
Just water. Nothing else.
H2O is all we would know.
Uh-huh.
All right. So how long does it take for a cigarette to break down in nature?
The filter takes from 2 to 10 years, depending on the conditions.
Did you know that?
I know it takes a long time. Yeah.
Even cigarette butts and... Yeah. All right. After leaves and animal waste breaks down, it becomes healthy soil. So in this case, this is a very good thing. They use it as fertilizer.
Yeah, this is called compost or composting is the action.
Right.
It's where you take things like leaves, like fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Eggshells.
Yeah.
Coffee.
And you put it like in a box. And yes, it smells bad because it's rotting. But what it's doing is that food is breaking down into smaller pieces that are healthy for soil, for the ground.
You know, I was very close to doing that, but then like, oh, you need to put worms in there. And then I thought, okay, well, I can't manage that.
Yeah. It's, it's real, especially if you live in an apartment.
Yeah, that's a little, if you have a garden and all of those things, yeah, an apartment, it's almost impossible to do. I guess not impossible, but difficult. Okay, so to break down, any other way something can break down other than what the examples that we gave you?
Well, this is used a lot chemically. So if you're talking about anything that you're throwing outside and how long it takes to disappear, you could also talk about skincare products and makeup.
Oh.
Because you can only use them for a little while, a certain number of months, before the chemicals start to break down. So maybe you bought a really expensive eye cream, but if you put that eye cream in sunlight or it's in too hot of a place, all of the chemicals in that eye cream break down, and then it's not effective anymore.
Very good. So that's why, some of the household items that you have, like certain gels or whatever, if you keep them for a long time, it breaks down. You got to throw it away.
Yeah. So often this is bad. Although I will say, if you have like a stain on a shirt, you do want chemicals
to break
down the stain.
Very good.
Yeah, to break it down so it releases from the clothing.
Very good. Oh my gosh, we had a very scientific explanation there.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, if you put an end to something, it means to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, someday we'll put an end to hunger.
First, we need to find politicians with the will to address the problem.
Okay, the prosecutor was trying to put an end to crime in the city.
Yeah.
So as you can see from these two examples, the way it's used or in what context it's used is a little bit different from just stop.
Right.
It's kind of a grander way of saying, like, there's a big issue.
Yes.
We have to put an end to it.
We're putting an end to it.
Yes, that's the feeling that you get.
Right. You said that very well. It feels very active. It feels forceful in a way. And it's often, not always, but it's often stopping something bad.
Okay. All right. So put an end to hunger.
Yeah.
Crime.
Poverty,
yes. Power pattern. A is a threat to B.
It's dangerous. It could cause harm.
Hurricanes are a threat to the fishing industry.
Cigarettes are a threat to your health.
Okay, pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Landfill is our power vocab, so do check that out. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsors.
한국토익위원회에서 취업과 승진을 위한 토익 스피킹 응시권을 드립니다.